Hi and welcome to another sketchbook tour. This time we're going to be going over this crazy messed up sketchbook. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 25 years now, and I'm here to empower you. So I'm going to be sharing this sketchbook, and this sketchbook is the other sketchbook that I was working on in tandem with the sketchbook that I showed in the last sketchbook tour, number 2. So this is the other one, the one that kind of developed at the same time. This is the other sketchbook I took to Italy with me, and this one is different because it's got tan paper. This is the first time I ever used tan paper, and as you can see, it's being held together by duct tape because it just started falling apart on me. I had it for so long, and it's not even finished. I didn't even finish using the last sheets of paper. So let's get to know this sketchbook. All right, so here it is. It's kind of falling apart. Let's take a look at what we've got here. And so the very first page is similar to, the other sketchbook. The other sketchbooks is I've got a ton, and I mean a ton of sheets here, including zoo stuff and scripts and writing and rough Simpsons comic. I mean, not even roughs. I mean, just have like photocopies of stuff like that, and so it's just full of. These are stories that I was writing and things like that. So yeah, all right. So here is the very first thing. This is, again, back to Italy. This is where we were. I was drawing. This is one of the very first things I drew on the sketchbook. Here's a bust from a museum piece that I saw, and then here is Glenn Villepeux's fix of my drawing. So in this case, there's like not too much stuff on this side. Here's some more things that I drew in Italy, a car in Italy. Not sure what this was all about. So I actually saw the David, and this is drawn from actually seeing the David with my own eyes. I was drawing him. This is in Siena. There was a very pretty girl, so I decided to draw her. Here are some of my traveling companions, and this is a view from, I believe it was a restaurant down the street in a place where we were staying at. Some of my companions, and so right now, you know, a pretty girl over here. I was single at the time. So this is one of the first watercolors I did in this sketchbook, and I believe that this is. Yeah, this is in Gubbio. It says right here, Gubbio. And these watercolors, I think, turned out really well, considering that these, you know, again, I hadn't been doing watercolors before, so this is the first watercolors I've ever done. And then this is just a tonal composition of a place where we were. I don't know if the light is kind of shining brightly on it, so you can kind of see it there a little bit better. More drawings in Gubbio. Drawing companion drawing. Here I drew this in Venice, and here's some Murano. More Murano drawings. There was a very pretty girl here. I even drew a little heart over her head. More pretty girls with hearts over their heads. Just observational drawings mostly here. And like I said, these were things in Italy. Here's a traveling companion that I drew, made kind of a chibi version of her. Here we have a drawing that I did straight out of a copy of a Leonardo da Vinci drawing. It was a pencil drawing, I believe. And I think that was it for Italy. And now I am back in the real world. I believe these are notes from Houston. These are Houston notes, going back to the whole you know, drawing over at Steve Houston figure drawing, and this is just me messing around, trying to play with gesture, and again, more eyeballs. Like you'll see that there's a lot of little eyeballs here. This is me attempting to use the tone of the paper to like create compositional studies from the movie Pinocchio. These didn't turn out very well. None of these did. I don't think I really understood the whole point of doing these tonal studies very well. But I did attempt to use this tone paper the way it ought to have been used, and so this was my yet another attempt. I think I just hadn't mastered it. Some horses drawn from life. Not very good at drawing these horses. More Steve Houston notes and some observational drawings. Observational drawings at a party. I think this is my dad. This is just me messing around with an arm from my imagination. This was at the Renaissance Fair. Absolutely, I remember this guy. He was dressed like a beast. This is an uncle, two uncles at a party. There was a little girl that walked up to this guy dressed up as a beast, and this is what she did when she walked up to him at the Renaissance Fair. So this was definitely at the Renaissance Fair. Try to adjust the light so it doesn't blow out this picture so you could actually see. More Renaissance Fair sketches. It was a very unique Renaissance Fair experience. I actually remember it. I was walking around with my sketchbook, just all by myself. I went with a group of people, just friends my age. I felt very awkward being around them, and I just kind of set off on my own. I'm not very social that way. At least I wasn't, especially in high school. Not, well, right out of high school, actually. I was still a teenager. Well, I don't know. Maybe, was I? Man, maybe I wasn't. But I was still really awkward. Anyway, I was walking through, and these girls I was walking through, and then this one girl just walked up to me, put her arm over my arm, and walked me to a booth, and just tricked me out of my money. She was so pretty, though. I was such a sucker. Here's something that I got in Italy. Pretty awesome little postcard. This is a drawing I did for a character from a novel manuscript that my wife wrote, but it never got published. Some notes on 3D sides and overlapping, interlocking forms, rhythms. These are just, I think, drawing notes. More observational stuff. So a lot of the sketchbook is me field sketching. A lot of field sketching here. I don't do this as much anymore, mostly because I really dislike doing it. I think it's just because I don't like the way any of my drawings turn out when I do field sketches. I think I maybe have been approaching it the wrong way all this time. I think if nowadays, if I was to do more field sketching, like I would probably do something more like this, where it's just extremely pushed. I think that's what would make it fun for me if I was to do it. I design studies. So this is me just drawing eyes and drawing eyes and drawing eyes and drawing eyes and drawing eyes. So this is how you just, pure repetition, just keep practicing them so that when you have to draw eyes, well, you get them right. Some receipts. Some of them seem like they were from Italy. Field sketching. This postcard is yet another postcard that I got in Italy. This is a field sketch in the restaurant. So there was a lot of field sketching, and so here we have doodling. So this was just my ex-girlfriend just doodling on my sketchbook, and this is me doodling. This is Father Tom. I think I had lunch with him one time. Had a theological conversation with him. Yeah, so this is not my drawings. This is inspiration. I like this guy's artwork, so I made photocopies as inspiration of someday being able to draw the way he draws. I think I went to some place where there was a lady dressed as a nun doing this. And then here we just, this is just from my imagination, just playing around. And I believe this was maybe from a movie? Maybe not. Maybe I saw this guy for real, like kind of walking around. Just drawing circles, practicing drawing circles. More field sketching. Here's a little bit of doodling on this side, that they're upside down. Here's some character designs that I did for a comic I was working on that didn't really go anywhere, but it was an interesting exercise, and I kind of like the way these two turned out. More field sketching. Probably went to the zoo and drew some birds. And here I'm playing around with body shapes. So I'm designing something, and so I'm just playing around with body shapes here. Some drawings here, some just doodling around, just more. This is field sketching, just kind of trying to draw this guy two different ways. More field sketching. This is Ron Perlman. And the cast of Hellboy, this Hellboy cast, this is Guillermo del Toro. So I was at a comic convention of some sort. Here's Bill Morrison. Bill Morrison over here. He used to be the head editor of Bongo Comics. Now he is the supervising editor of Mad Magazine. But yeah, apparently there was some kind of Hellboy panel, and I was there, and I just drew the actors. And some of the audience members, and this is the Ron Perlman again, just trying to draw his lights and darks, and just doodles. Some of these, I believe, were my ex-girlfriends. Some of them are just doodles, just random doodles, and some writing in here. And field sketching, not really. Well, some of it might be field sketching, and some of it is just imaginative drawing, just me playing around with shapes. This is definitely just me playing around with shapes and characters and faces. They're not very good, but that's the point of just kind of messing around. Here I am trying to, again, just do more character designs and doodles, but this time I started using ink, and I think I was being inspired by Steven Silver's artwork. And I believe this is for a storyboarding class that I took with Carl Ganas, and then I drew Carl over here in two different ways. Yeah, so these are all notes for a figure drawing class about board notes. It says better establishing people, more of the city, clearer repair shop, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, there's just lots and lots and lots of... Ooh, this is a postcard from Gubbio. Yeah, so this is yet another postcard from Italy. This is, I went to a retreat. So I started sketching here, and I attempted here. Apparently in this retreat I also attempted watercolor and failed miserably. Yet again, this is one of those things where this is one of the reasons I gave up watercolors, because when I attempted to do watercolors outside of that trip to Italy, they all fell apart. I think I tried watercolor one other time. I lied in the last video when I said I gave up completely, but I tried it again over and over and a few times, but I failed miserably. Now at this point, I'm trying to make my work a little bit more interesting. And again, this is from a character from my wife's unpublished manuscript from her story. Here's some studies of Bridgman noses, just drawing them from imagination, just doing studies of Bridgman noses. Here we have field sketches, and my field sketches, I'm trying to make them prettier, more cool looking, so I started bringing in Copic markers and black ink, and just started trying to make these more dynamic, because up until this point my field sketches weren't all that. So, and having had tone paper, I decided let's really use the tone paper. So these are actually two from photographs. This is a field sketch of Jim Lujan. He's an animator. He does well, you could look him up. He does really cool little animated shorts that are pretty amazing and really fun. Jim Lujan, if you're looking for him. Maybe I'll link to him in the description of this video if I remember to do so. You could check. Yeah, this is a field sketch done with Copics and a brush pen. This is, by the way, Patrick Warburton. Not a very good Patrick Warburton. I was trying to, but you know, it kind of failed. But like I said, this is from a magazine. So more Patrick Warburton. This one turned out a little bit better, and this one turned out the best. This actually looks like Patrick Warburton. And this was some figure drawing studies from a figure drawing book. More figure drawing studies from a figure drawing book. Trying to use the tone of the paper to add the highlights and the darks. This was Copics with a brush pen, pencil brush pen, and white Prismacolor. More, and then here the idea here was to really caricature the figure drawing, like not try to capture the figure exactly, but just really push it like over the top. And it was extremely fun. You know what? I haven't done this. I should keep doing this. This turned out really good. These is G.K. Chesterton. These are some studies I did of G.K. Chesterton. Again, I'm learning to paint with these Copic markers. So I did a black and white, and then I took the Copics and I did the white highlights. I think these turned out nice. I really like them. G.K. Chesterton, by the way, was an Edwardian article writer who was a brilliant writer. Once upon a time, his writing was studied in school, but no longer. I don't know why. The guy is extremely smart. Probably because, well, I won't say why I think he's no longer read, but I highly recommend you read his stories. In fact, he wrote a novel called The Man Who Was Thursday, and Orson Welles did a play of it, if you could hear it. It's an audio version of it. Great writer, brilliant thinker. More field sketches, experimenting, plus this was an actual figure drawing from actual figure drawing class. I did this live in a figure drawing class. Again, experimenting with the colored paper. It didn't really work out all that well for me on that one. Field sketching again, but these are probably the type of field sketches that I should continue to do. These are very interesting field sketches. Just evolving. This is a field sketch. This is from a photo. I forgot the Buscemi, the actor. figure drawing in figure drawing class or in a figure drawing workshop. Again, experimenting with markers, experimenting with brush pens. It's weird. I like these figure drawings, and I haven't been able to duplicate them in my current figure drawings, which is very strange. Trip to the zoo, drawing animals. More figure drawing from figure drawing workshop. More figure drawing, and this one I really caricatured it. It was a lot of fun, and this one turned out great. And I haven't been able to duplicate this. I don't know what was happening with me at this point, but what I was doing was really interesting, and I haven't been able to do this since. I'm gonna have to practice doing this, because I think this is something that I like to do more of. This is, again, figure drawing in figure drawing class. This time the model came in full costume, so I tried to do it and failed miserably. I think this is when I started giving up, because when I tried to do it here, the same thing that I did before, it wasn't working. Well, unless, I think the longer the pose, the better I was able to do it. So I think it's just how long the poses are, because I like this one. Back to field sketching. And I believe this is one of the last pages I did. Field sketch. Nope, I still got some more. This is a drawing that my brother did on my sketchbook. There's a few of my brothers. This is a drawing from my brother that he drew of me. And this is my version of my brother drawn in my brother's drawing style. I believe I drew this off of a photo. I think this is Alex Toth. He's one of my drawing heroes. He's a really good artist. Okay, so I've got Post-it here. I guess I like this Post-it. I thought that the drawing was good, maybe. Or maybe I was... Oh, this was like a sketch for a cover that I was going to do. And here's some monster designs here on here. I got like a snake monster guy. And then I have these field sketches. And this must have been done years later, or months and months later, and they're terrible. Like suddenly, these are like downgrades from what I was doing before. Like I lost whatever it was that I had in the previous pages. I've attempted to do the things. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like my work has actually gotten, my field sketches have actually gotten worse. This was at a Comic-Con panel. It says right here, Breaking into Comics Now, panel Comic-Con 2012. So this was drawn in 2012, and so this was the panel, and this was a different panel. Headed on the topic that's in the prospect of the mind, good, better, best, provide the highest price. I think this was just some kind of panel on making money doing comics, maybe? I don't know. And I think this was the guy who was... Oh, I know what this is. This is at a it's a marketing meeting. Yeah. This was the speaker. And again, I was trying to do field sketches the way I used to do them, and these are okay. These turned out okay, I think. And this was the very last field sketch in this sketchbook, and I like the way this one turned out. It's really rough and graphic, and it's got a lot of life to it. And just again, an attempt at the tonal drawings. And then the rest is blank. I got a lot of blank pages. I think I'm going to still draw on these because there's plenty of pages. So I'm still not done with this sketchbook. I just want to use up these pages. It's a waste not to use up these pages. These are some places to get artwork in Siena. Yeah, Siena, Italy. If you're interested, Ricky Bell Artista is a good place to buy things in Siena. And again, look how much blank pages we've got here. So yeah, definitely I'm going to have to try to fill these up. And then I've just got a ton of leftover sheets of paper. And here we have the mandatory Steve Houston artwork thing that I have in almost every single one of my sketchbooks up to this point. Let's see, it says September 18th, October 17th, 1999. So obviously this sketchbook is from 1999 to 2012 and going, because like I said, I'm going to keep on adding to this sketchbook even though it's falling apart. There are so many blank pages in here, it's just a waste. But here, this is from again the exhibition, the Steve Houston exhibition. I don't know where this is from. It's a rub off of something. Some Bible stuff. Oh, that's the photo of the lady that I drew. And here I have some handouts. I want to show you the handouts. I got a receipt in here for a car. So these are handouts from my friend the mentor Paul Wee on drawing the abdomen. But here's a bullet. And here's some of his drawings. More of his drawings. Some more. The front of the figure, the back of the figure, and the little note on shadows, and some general proportions, and some Riley abstractions, and that's it. That's this sketchbook. So, oh boy, gotta close up the sketchbook here. It is a big mess of a sketchbook. Like I said, I still carry it around, but it's on its last legs. This thing is just falling apart on me. I hope you've enjoyed this sketchbook tour. Some of these sketchbook tours that I've had to do have been censored for YouTube. My patrons get the uncensored version, but that's this sketchbook. So the next sketchbooks that I share will be a little bit further on, a little bit newer. You're going to see a little bit better work in here. So thank you so much for joining me here in my little sketchbook tour. I hope this has been insightful, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye.